The first time the silent alien woman moved in 3 years. Every alarm on the orbital station woke up before the humans did. Orbiting far above the blue curve of Earth, Research Station Halcyon drifted quietly through the dark like a patient observer of its own species. The station had been built for diplomacy, science, and the careful study of alien contact. But for the past 5 years, its greatest mystery had slowly become its greatest embarrassment. Behind layers of reinforced crystal glass, within a chamber full of silent scanners and glowing panels, lived the only confirmed extraterrestrial ever recovered by humanity. And she had never spoken. Not once. Her rescue had been the kind of event that shook planets. A damaged escape vessel drifting beyond the orbit of Neptune had been discovered by a deep space patrol drone. The craft carried technology centuries beyond anything human engineers could fully understand. Inside it, unconscious but alive, was a single passenger. A woman. At least, she appeared to be one. The first images transmitted back to Earth had stunned the world. She was tall, elegant, and almost perfectly humanoid. Pale skin that carried a faint natural glow beneath the light. Long dark hair that seemed to shimmer with a subtle metallic sheen. Her ears tapered slightly longer than human anatomy allowed, and her eyes. Her eyes were the most unsettling part. They did not have a single color. Instead, they shimmered softly between shades of silver, violet, and deep blue, like distant galaxies drifting across a calm surface. Every scientist who had seen those eyes had the same reaction. They felt watched, not studied. Watched. But the strangest thing about the alien woman wasn't her appearance. It was her silence. 5 years of translation algorithms. 5 years of linguistic models. 5 years of diplomatic greetings, cultural recordings, mathematical signals, musical attempts, and patient questioning. She had never responded. Not to the world's greatest xenolinguists, not to ambassadors, not to military representatives, not even to other aliens. Because Halcyon Station didn't only house human researchers. In the years since humanity's first confirmed extraterrestrial contact, several nearby civilizations had cautiously opened diplomatic relations with Earth. A few representatives even worked on the station, observing the mysterious silent woman just like everyone else. And none of them had succeeded either, which was why Dr. Halvorsen currently looked like he was reconsidering every career decision he had ever made. The elderly xenolinguist stood in the observation deck, staring down through the glass at the silent chamber below. "She blinked," he said. "That is generally something living organisms do," replied a dry voice beside him. The speaker was not human. Ambassador Salathi leaned casually against the console with the relaxed posture of someone who had lived far longer than anyone else in the room. Her species, the Telari, looked almost human except for the luminous lines of faint blue light that ran beneath the skin of their arms and neck. Right now those lines were dim, which for a Telari meant mild amusement. "She blinked twice," Halvorsen corrected stubbornly. Salathi tilted her head. "Fascinating, alert the universities." The scientists behind them chuckled quietly. Down in the chamber below, the alien woman sat in her usual place, near the curved window that looked out into space. She always preferred that spot. Her posture was calm, almost regal, though no one had ever confirmed her origin or status among her people. Sometimes she would sit there for hours without moving. Other times she would slowly walk along the perimeter of the chamber, fingertips lightly brushing the walls as if feeling something the instruments couldn't detect. But she never spoke. 5 years, Halvorsen muttered. 5 years and not even a syllable. Salathi glanced down again. "For what it is worth," she said casually, "among my people, silence can sometimes mean we are still deciding whether the conversation is worth having." "That is not comforting." "No, no." Before Salathi could respond, the door behind them slid open with a quiet hiss. Someone stepped into the observation room carrying a metal food container. He immediately froze. "Oh, sorry. Didn't know the whole council was here." Every scientist in the room turned at once. The man standing in the doorway looked extremely ordinary, mid-30s, brown hair slightly messy. Maintenance uniform with the Halcyon insignia stitched onto the chest. One hand holding a container that smelled faintly like heated vegetables and rice. This was Noah Arlen. Technically, his job title was Environmental Systems Caretaker 3rd Class, which was a very official way of saying he made sure things didn't break. Air filters, water recyclers, food dispensers, sometimes the lighting panels. The kind of job that only became important when something went wrong. Dr. Halvorsen sighed. "You're late." Noah lifted the container slightly. She likes the warmer trays. The heating unit in the galley was acting up again. Salathi studied him with faint curiosity. You bring her meals personally every day. Yeah, Noah said. He stepped further into the room, looking slightly uncomfortable under the attention. I mean, someone has to. The ambassador's glowing lines flickered thoughtfully. And in 5 years she has never spoken to you either. Noah shrugged, nope. He hesitated, then added with a small grin. Though once she stole my spoon. Havorson blinked, she what? Yeah, Noah said casually. Just took it, looked at it for like 10 minutes, then gave it back. Salathi's glowing lines brightened faintly. Fascinating. Noah shifted awkwardly. Is it okay if I go in? Havorson waved tiredly toward the chamber door. Yes, yes, routine interaction, record everything. The chamber airlock opened with a soft hum as Noah stepped inside. The room was quiet except for the faint whisper of station systems. The alien woman sat by the observation window exactly as she always did, gazing out into the black sea of stars. Earth was visible far below, a glowing blue crescent. Noah walked in slowly, setting the tray on the small table beside her usual seat. Dinner time, he said. No response. He never expected one. Still, he spoke anyway, not like the scientists did. Not carefully phrased test sentences or cultural greetings, just normal conversation. They fixed the coffee dispenser today, he continued casually. Which is good because Dr. Havorson was about 2 hours away from declaring a scientific emergency. He sat down across from her. The alien woman did not turn. Her strange, shimmering eyes remained fixed on the stars. Noah leaned back in his chair. You know, he added thoughtfully, if you ever decide to start talking, you're going to scare the hell out of everyone. Silence, then he chuckled to himself. Honestly, you'll probably scare me too. For several quiet seconds, nothing happened. Then, slowly, the alien woman blinked, and for the first time in years, she turned her head, not toward the observation glass, toward him. The first word the alien woman ever spoke was so quiet that the station's audio sensors almost missed it. But the recording systems didn't, and neither did Noah. For a moment he simply sat there, staring at her, wondering if the sound he had heard had come from the ventilation system, or the observation window, or his own tired brain inventing things during a night shift that had already lasted too long. Her eyes were on him, not just looking, focused. The strange colors inside them slowly shifting like distant storms behind glass. Then her lips moved again. Noah. His brain stopped. The sound of his name hung in the chamber like something fragile and impossible. Noah blinked. Okay, he said slowly. Either you just spoke, or the sleep deprivation has finally taken me. Behind the glass of the observation deck above, every scientist in the room had already stopped breathing. Dr. Havorson stared at the monitor. Did she? Yes, Salathi said quietly. Her luminous skin lines had flared bright blue. She did. Inside the chamber, Noah leaned forward slightly. You know my name. The alien woman tilted her head in a small, curious motion. The movement had an elegance that reminded Noah of royalty in old historical films. Controlled, graceful, deliberate. Yes, she said softly. Her voice was smooth and strangely calm, as if speaking human language had never been difficult at all, which made it far more unsettling. Noah rubbed his face. Right, okay, that's new. Up in the observation room, chaos exploded. Record everything. Confirm linguistic structure. Is she using the station database? She said his name. Of course she said his name, I heard it. Salathi remained silent, watching the screen carefully. Below, Noah gestured vaguely toward the ceiling. You probably just gave about 20 scientists simultaneous heart attacks. The alien woman looked upward briefly. Not toward the scientists themselves. She couldn't see them through the one-way glass, but toward the direction of their presence. Then she looked back at Noah. They watch you. He snorted softly. Yeah, they do that. Her eyes narrowed slightly. Not the same. Before Noah could ask what that meant, the chamber door hissed open behind him. Dr. Havorson nearly stumbled into the room. Behind him came 3 other researchers and Ambassador Salathi, moving with surprising speed for someone who normally carried herself with diplomatic calm. Havorson stopped several steps away from the alien woman. For the first time in 5 years, he looked like someone standing in front of a miracle. Can you understand me? He asked carefully. The alien woman turned her head toward him. And then nothing, her face returned to perfect stillness. Halvorsen waited, seconds stretched, then a full minute. Nothing, he tried again. "We are very happy to hear you speak." Silence. Salathi stepped slightly forward, studying the alien woman with glowing curiosity. "You address the caretaker by name," the Telari ambassador said gently. "May I ask why?" The alien woman looked at her. Her shimmering eyes passed over the ambassador, then drifted calmly back to Noah. Halvorsen's jaw slowly dropped. Did she just— "Yes," Salathi said quietly. "She ignored us." Noah scratched the back of his neck. Sorry." Halvorsen turned to him sharply. "What did you say to her before we entered?" "Nothing," Noah said. "Well, clearly something. I literally just brought dinner." Salathi crouched slightly, so she was closer to the alien woman's seated height. "Why him?" she asked calmly. The alien woman watched Noah again. For several seconds she said nothing, then finally, "He listens." The room fell silent. Halvorsen looked offended. "We all listen." The alien woman slowly blinked. "You wait." Salathi's glowing lines brightened again. Halvorsen frowned. "What does that mean?" Noah raised one hand. "I think she means you ask questions while waiting for answers." The alien woman nodded once, a small movement, but unmistakably agreement. Halvorsen opened his mouth, closed it, and then sighed. Salathi chuckled softly. "It appears our linguistic strategy may have been aggressive." Noah leaned back in his chair. "Well, yeah." Everyone turned to look at him. He shrugged. "You guys interrogate her like a press conference." The alien woman's eyes flickered with faint amusement, which shocked the entire room more than the speaking. Salathi folded her arms thoughtfully. "Caretaker Noah." "Just Noah." "Just Noah," she corrected smoothly. "Would you be willing to continue this conversation?" He looked between them. "You mean while everyone stares at us like it's a zoo exhibit?" Halvorsen protested. "This is historic." "Yeah," Noah said, "and also weird." The alien woman spoke again. "Stay." The word was directed at Noah. Not the scientists, not the ambassador, just him. Halvorsen whispered under his breath. "This makes absolutely no sense." Salathi was still studying the alien woman carefully. "No," she murmured softly, "it makes perfect sense." Halvorsen looked at her. "What are you talking about?" The Telari ambassador's glowing lines pulsed faintly. "In my species," she said quietly, "there is an old diplomatic rule." Noah raised an eyebrow. "Oh, this sounds ominous." Salathi didn't smile. If a silent royal finally speaks, the first person they choose is rarely accidental. The room went still again. Halvorsen blinked. "Royal." Salathi kept her eyes on the alien woman. "Yes." Then she added quietly, "And if I am correct," her luminous markings dimmed slightly, "we may have spent 5 years unknowingly hosting someone far more important than we realized." Across the chamber, the alien woman continued watching Noah, like someone who had been waiting a very long time for the right moment to begin. The first alien warship appeared at the edge of the solar system 12 hours after the silent woman spoke her second sentence. It didn't arrive quietly. Every deep space telescope lit up at once as a structure larger than a small moon slipped out of folded space beyond Pluto's orbit. The vessel was elegant and terrifying at the same time, its surface smooth like liquid metal, its long crescent shape glowing faintly with streams of blue energy that rippled across the hull like living veins. Then another appeared beside it, and another. Within minutes, 7 massive ships hovered in the darkness beyond the Kuiper Belt. Every government on Earth entered emergency protocol. Halcyon Station suddenly became the most important and most fragile place in human history. Inside the observation chamber, however, the atmosphere was strangely calm. The alien woman stood by the great window, her luminous skin reflecting faint starlight. From this distance, the approaching fleet was invisible to the naked eye, but she clearly knew they were there. She had known before anyone else. Noah leaned against the table behind her, arms folded as he stared at the stream of tactical data scrolling across the chamber wall. "Those yours?" he asked carefully. Her eyes shifted slightly. "Yes." Noah exhaled slowly. "Okay. That's a lot of friends." Behind him, Dr. Halvorsen was pacing in frantic circles, while 2 analysts shouted updates across their consoles. "They've deployed observation probes. No weapons charging detected. Communication attempts unanswered." Halvorsen looked like a man trying very hard not to panic in front of extraterrestrial royalty, because at this point there was very little doubt. Ambassador Salathi stood near the center of the room, watching the alien woman with quiet focus. The glowing lines beneath her skin pulsed with slow waves of blue light. "Your people arrived quickly," she said. The alien woman turned slightly toward her. "They waited." Halvorsen stopped pacing. "They waited for what?" Her gaze moved calmly back to Noah. "For certainty." The room fell quiet again. Noah rubbed the back of his neck. "Still not used to being the center of interstellar events," he admitted. Salathi smiled faintly. "Few caretakers are." Halvorsen stepped closer to the alien woman, trying to regain some professional composure. "If you truly are royalty among your species, then you must understand how alarming this situation is for us." She studied him silently. Then she spoke in a tone that carried surprising calm authority. "My people have watched Earth for centuries." Every human in the room froze. "Wait," Noah said, "centuries." "Yes." Halvorsen looked like someone had just erased his understanding of history. "Why?" Her strange galaxy-like eyes shifted slowly toward the distant stars. "Because you are dangerous." That answer did not help. Halvorsen swallowed. "I beg your pardon." Salathi tilted her head with interest. The alien woman continued. "Your species is young, violent, creative, emotional. You build weapons faster than you build wisdom." Noah muttered quietly. "That's not entirely wrong." But she continued, "You also do something very rare." She turned again toward Noah. "You protect those who cannot give you power." Silence filled the room. Halvorsen frowned. "I'm not sure I follow." Salathi's glowing lines brightened, but Noah spoke first. "You were testing us," he said slowly. The alien woman nodded. "My people feared what humanity might become if you reached the stars without restraint." Halvorsen whispered, "So you sent her?" "Yes." Noah blinked. "Wait." He pointed between them. "Hold on. You mean that whole broken escape pod thing wasn't an accident?" "No, you were pretending to be a stranded alien." "Yes." Halvorsen staggered slightly into a chair. "My entire research career." Salathi chuckled softly. The alien woman stepped closer to Noah. "For 5 years I listened." Her voice remained calm, but something deeper moved beneath it now. "I listened to fear, to ambition, to control, to curiosity." Her gaze softened slightly. "Then I listened to you." Noah blinked. I mostly talked about broken coffee machines." "Yes." That answer was surprisingly sincere. "You never asked for power, you never demanded answers. You never tried to control what you did not understand." She paused. "You treated me as a person." Noah looked genuinely uncomfortable. "I mean, yeah." Salathi stepped forward. "Among your people," she asked carefully, "does that hold special meaning?" The alien woman's eyes glowed brighter than before. "Yes." Outside the chamber, the station's communications officer suddenly shouted, "They're hailing us." Everyone turned. A massive holographic projection burst into life at the center of the room. A tall alien figure appeared, clearly from the same species as the silent woman, though older. His features were sharp, elegant, and commanding, with the same luminous skin and shifting eyes. Behind him stretched the vast command bridge of the lead warship. When he saw the woman standing beside Noah, his expression changed instantly. Relief, then pride, he bowed his head. The gesture was unmistakably one of respect. "Princess Arya," he said. Every human in the room stopped breathing. The alien woman inclined her head slightly. "Father." Halvorsen made a choking sound. The alien commander's gaze moved slowly across the room until it stopped on Noah. A long silence followed. "Is this the human?" he asked. Salathi answered calmly, "Yes." The alien commander studied Noah with deep curiosity. "You are a caretaker." Noah lifted one hand awkwardly. "Technically third class." The commander seemed to consider this information. Then he smiled faintly. "A humble title for someone who has changed the future of 2 civilizations." Noah blinked again. "That seems like an overstatement." Princess Arya shook her head gently. "No." She turned to face the humans in the chamber. "For centuries, my people believed humanity would one day threaten the balance of the galaxy." Her voice carried across the room with quiet strength. "But today, we have learned something else." She stepped beside Noah. And for the first time since arriving on Earth, the silent alien woman placed her hand lightly on a human shoulder. "My first word was not chosen randomly." Every person in the room felt the weight of that moment. "My people feared humanity because of your power." She looked at Noah. "But now we understand something greater." Outside the station, 7 massive alien warships hung silently above the distant edge of the solar system. Waiting, watching, her eyes shimmered softly. "Your greatest strength," She squeezed Noah's shoulder gently. Is that sometimes the most important human in the galaxy? A small smile appeared on her face. Is just the one who brings dinner.